Why are adults so hooked on alcohol? I'm 15 and try as I might, I just can't seem to wrap my head around the infatuation adults have with alcohol. I understand that most things, when properly moderated, can be consumed without much issue, but alcohol just seems to be a toxic relationship that always ends up creating problems for everyone. Whether it be drunk texts to your exes, DUIs, or just general assholery, people always run back to it. I've heard stories of people being hesitant to attend weddings because of the dry factor. I've even heard about people taking shots or relying on alcohol to deal with social situations. Again, I see the appeal with the forgive me if I'm wrong whole loosening effect. But it just seems to be a gateway to something more sinister. To clear up why I'm curious. My mom was an alcoholic about 10-12 years ago. I never saw her drink. None of me or my sister have fetal alcohol syndrome. And I never had any inclination that she even tried alcohol before she told me about it about a year back. I hate to have heard about how alcohol just tore her apart so badly, and it just makes me cringe at the thought of even trying it. I'm sure she made it seem much more dangerous for my sake. Or maybe for hers. But either way, I just don't get it. Every time I ask this sort of question, people always shut me up saying it's an adult topic and you can't understand it yet, which is very frustrating to me. Having an alcoholic parent can be deeply traumatic. And it's entirely understandable and valid that it would have a huge impact on your perception of alcohol as a whole. I think it's a very complex subject. But there's nothing wrong with feeling the way you do about it. Just skip it altogether and your life will be better. I only realized this after heavy drinking until the age of 40. Then quitting. Same as any drug. It seems like you have not understood why people take drugs. It makes them feel great and happy. It's a minor escape. Like any drug, life can be very, very hard. And these things offer a temporary getaway from the stress. They break up the monotony and make your troubles seem less important for that brief moment. However, they're all a really slippery slope. The more you do it, the more reasons you'll find to do it. And the less it'll help each time. This leads to you not only doing it more often, but more severely. A lot of people have a really hard time regulating this. Especially when mental illness like depression come into play. A controlled amount of alcohol feels really good. As with anything, if you get stupid with it, it can be dangerous, but if you control yourself, then you'll feel happy. I'm 56 and don't get it either. I had a phase where I tried it. Got drunken with friends. But it wasn't something I really enjoyed, so I stopped. And since I'm not used to drinking, I feel effects from very little. And I honestly don't like the taste. People are okay and thankful with it when I'm the designated driver. But when I'm not, they often react irritated. Like I'm weird. My son is 17. Has tested it. Beer is legal with 16 in Germany. And doesn't like it either. And is self-confident enough to not let it bother him. Life is hard for a lot of people and they are looking for an escape. Drugs and alcohol provide that. I thought the exact same as you when I was 15. Now I like it just fine. I'm not saying you'll inevitably start to like it at some point. Just be aware that your perspective on it is very skewed. If you never want to touch alcohol, that's absolutely fine. But it can be fun in moderation. Many people seem to think that there's no middle ground between teetotal and raging alcoholic. Because everyone is repressed and depressed, and it serves the dual purpose of loosening you up and numbing. Don't start. I am 50 years older than you. If you figure it out, clue me in please. What's weird is that Gen X can't wrap their heads around why young people like the OP are happy living without alcohol. They theorize and write endless opinion pieces about it. There is so much cognitive dissonance in people my age. We've all seen alcohol ruin lives and we've all lost days to hangovers, but we still keep thinking we're okay. It's a euphoric dissociative that requires no prescription, and if you keep it under control is very hard to spot to an outsider. Adult life is full of stress, regrets and bullshit. Drinking is an easy off switch. Alcoholism is generally the result of someone trying to self-medicate an issue as a coping mechanism, whether they know it or not. I'm 39. I don't get it either. It causes more harm than good. I started drinking at 13, quit at 26. I realized early on that I have to look at alcohol as an allergy the second I have a sip of it. It makes my blood itchy and I need to have a little bit more, and on and it goes. Then I started getting suicidal car accidents, arrested, started beating people up, started getting beat up. I had horrible relationships with my family, with girlfriends and wives. I am almost 40 now and would definitely say my life has been awesome without drugs and alcohol. My wife and I both don't drink or do drugs, and we are definitely a lot better off for it. Not everyone who drinks is an asshole when they do it. Personally, I use alcohol sparingly to overcome my social anxiety. It allows me to converse with people easily and joyfully. Many people, OTOH, think that alcohol good time, and they can't imagine having fun without it. And most of America is full of functional alcoholics. So there's that. Not all adults walk your own path. I'm honestly a bit curious too. I've seen people challenge others to drink. Inside my head, I was wondering for what. I'm almost 40 now and I don't really drink growing up. Just never fond of it. I'd drink wine occasionally and pairing it with food. I prefer that way. Also, not sure if it's true. Recently I watched a sommelier. He was a doctor video on YT that our brain is still developed until the mid-20s. Drinking excessively in the early 20s will affect the development. Don't quote me on this. I'll see if I can still find the video in case anyone is wondering. Dude, alcohol is the worst. I'm 26 and I've never understood it. It makes people smelly, stupid and loud. I have never understood the appeal. You're not alone. Follow your intuition. Stay away from it. It's bad news mentally and physically. Not everyone is, and not everyone that drinks is hooked. Dopamine. It is a chemical that released in your brain that make you feel good. Unfortunately, everyone handles all types of drugs differently. I don't get it either, and I am an adult. It's kinda like gun culture. I really don't get the obsession. Ad marketing and being a highly addictive substance that's sold basically everywhere. Stay far the absolute fuck away from it. This is coming from a recovering alcoholic. It is not a replacement for social interactions. A lot of things are famous, but they suck. Life hurts and some people use alcohol or XYZ to make it hurt less. Because it's a legal multi-billion-dollar business with huge marketing. Here in UK, when I was a kid, the drinks industry used to fund most anti-drugs campaigns. It's why I don't drink. Waste of money and too risky. Because alcohol is an extremely addictive substance and it's normalized in our society. Good job at 15 asking these questions. I'd just skip it. Ultimately nothing good comes from it.